Russia, go home, now.
With profound humble gratitude and love to all venerated enlightened masters, we bow to the Almighty in soulful gratefulness for gifting us with their holy blessed presence. May all beings be awakened by their divine grace.
Part 4 of 4.
Etc.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nos programmes offrent plusieurs langues. Veuillez visiter suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nuestros programas ofrecen varios idiomas. Visiten suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Τα προγράμματά μας προσφέρονται σε πολλές γλώσσες. Παρακαλούμε δείτε suprememastertv.com/schedule.
The spiritual I in man is omniscient and has every knowledge innate in it, while the personal self is the creature of its environment and the slave of the physical memory. Please keep watching to find out more.
Love to save the children? Be vegan.
Hey, hey, ho, ho, animal agriculture has to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, animal agriculture has got to go.
Як маєтеся? How are you? In Belarusian. I am Anastasia. The cheerful people of Belarus share your heartfelt wish for spiritual truths. May your steps be illuminated by God's love and wisdom.
How to be looked up to.
Be vegan, go green, make peace, do good deed.
How to be looked down on.
Do the other way.
Welcome to Memories and Reincarnation. Selections from Theosophy's Sacred Teachings in the Key to Theosophy, Part 2 of 2, on Words of Wisdom. Madame Helena Petrovna Blavatsky, vegetarian, was born in 1831 into a noble family in Ukraine or Urain. As a child, young Helena displayed a gift for clairvoyance, as well as an interest in metaphysical phenomena. Years later, she traveled throughout Europe, the Middle East, and India, studying with various teachers and Sufi saints. Following the guidance of an Indian yogi named Mahatma Maurya, vegetarian, Madame Blavatsky co-founded the Theosophical Society. Theosophy, meaning divine wisdom, refers to knowledge that comes through spiritual experience rather than intellectual understanding alone. The Theosophical Society is dedicated to uplifting humanity through a realization of the oneness of life and the wisdom underlying all religions. Madame Blavatsky wrote several important books on theosophy, including Isis Unveiled, The Secret Doctrine, The Key to Theosophy, and The Voice of the Silence. The Key to Theosophy unlocks the door that leads to a deeper study of theosophy. In contrast to other theosophy volumes, it is written in simple explanatory language. Readers are thus able to more easily understand its fundamental principles.
There are 211 countries and regions which have animal people protection laws. Albania is one of them.
Albania. Law number 10465 on veterinary service. A keeper of an animal individual can be fined for abandoning or not providing adequate care to an animal person. Animal people shall also be transported in suitable conditions, avoiding undue harm or suffering.
Obey the law of your country. No more animal people slaughterhouses, no more hurting, no more murdering them to eat, to lab test, or for any reason at all. Be vegan, make peace, so be it.
Today, on Words of Wisdom, we invite you to join us for excerpts from The Key to Theosophy on reincarnation or rebirth. Why do we not remember our past lives? The inquirer asked the Theosophist, what is finally this mysterious eternal principle? Can you explain its nature so as to make it comprehensible to all? The Theosophist replied, the ego which reincarnates, the individual and immortal, not personal I, the vehicle, in short, of Atma Buddhic Modad, higher self, that which is rewarded in Devachan, heaven world, unpunished on earth, and that finally to which the reflection only of the skandhas or attributes of every incarnation attaches itself. The inquirer asked further, what do you mean by skandhas? The Theosophist explained, just what I said, attributes, among which is memory, all of which perish like a flower, leaving behind them only a feeble perfume. Here is another paragraph from H.S. Olcott's Buddhist Catechism, which bears directly upon the subject. It deals with the question as follows. The aged man remembers the incidents of his youth despite his being physically and mentally changed. Why, then, is not the recollection of past lives brought over by us from our last birth into the present birth? Because memory is included within the skandhas, and the skandhas having changed with the new existence, a memory, the record of that particular existence, develops. Yet the record or reflection of all the past lives must survive, for when Prince Siddhartha Gautama became Buddha, the full sequence of his previous births were seen by him, and anyone who attains to the state of jhana, deep meditation, can thus retrospectively trace the line of his lives. This proves to you that while the undying qualities of the personality, such as love, goodness, charity, etc., attach themselves to the immortal ego, photographing on it, so to speak, a permanent image of the divine aspect of the man who was, his material skandhas, those which generate the most marked karmic effects, are as evanescent as a flash of lightning, and cannot impress the new brain of the new personality. Yet their failing to do so impairs in no way the identity of the reincarnating ego. The inquirer questioned, do you mean to infer that that which survives is only the soul memory, as you call it, that soul or ego being one and the same, while nothing of the personality remains? The Theosophist answered, not quite, something of each personality, unless the latter was an absolute materialist with not even a crack in his nature for a spiritual ray to pass through, must survive, as it leaves its eternal impress on the incarnating permanent self or spiritual ego. The personality with its skandhas is ever changing with every new birth. It is, as said before, only the part played by the actor, the true ego, for one night. This is why we preserve no memory on the physical plane of our past lives, though the real ego has lived them over and knows them all. The inquirer asked further, then how does it happen that the real or spiritual man does not impress his new personal I with this knowledge? The Theosophist explained, how is it that the servant girls in a poor farmhouse could speak Hebrew and play the violin in their trance or somnambulic state, and knew neither when in their normal condition? Because, as every genuine psychologist of the old, not your modern school, will tell you, the spiritual ego can act only when the personal ego is paralyzed. The spiritual I in man is omniscient and has every knowledge innate in it, while the personal self is the creature of its environment and the slave of the physical memory. Could the former manifest itself uninterruptedly and without impediment, there would be no longer men on earth, but we should all be gods. The inquirer commented, still there ought to be exceptions, and some ought to remember. The Theosophist continued, and so there are, but who believes in their report? Works on this subject, preeminently Reincarnation, a study of forgotten truths, by Edward Dwight Walker, brings to bear on this vexed question. One speaks to people of soul, and some ask, what is soul? Have you ever proved its existence? Of course, it is useless to argue with those who are materialists, but even to them I would put the question, can you remember what you were or did when a baby? Have you preserved the smallest recollection of your life, thoughts, or deeds, or that you lived at all during the first 18 months or 2 years of your existence? Then why not deny that you have ever lived as a babe on the same principle? When to all this we add that the reincarnating ego or individuality retains during the divacanic heaven world period merely the essence of the experience of its past earth life or personality, the whole physical experience evolving into a state of being, so to speak, translated into a spiritual formula. When we remember further that the term between two rebirths is said to extend from 10 to 15 centuries, during which time the physical consciousness is totally and absolutely inactive, having no organs to act through and therefore no existence, the reason for the absence of all remembrance in the purely physical memory is apparent. The inquirer pressed further. You just said that the spiritual ego was omniscient. Where then is that wanted omniscience during his divacanic heaven world life, as you call it? The Theosophist expounded, during that time it is latent and potential, because first of all, the spiritual ego, the compound of buddhi-manas, is not the higher self, which being one with the universal soul or mind is alone omniscient. And secondly, because Divakan, heaven world, is the idealized continuation of the terrestrial life just left behind, a period of retributive adjustment, and a reward for unmerited wrongs and sufferings undergone in that special life. It is omniscient only potentially in Divakan, heaven world, and in fact exclusively in Nirvana, when the ego is merged in the universal mind-soul. Yet it re-becomes partially omniscient during those hours on earth when certain abnormal conditions and physiological changes in the body make the ego free from the trammels of matter. Thus, the examples cited above of somnambulists, a poor servant speaking Hebrew and another playing the violin, give you an illustration of the case in point. This does not mean that the explanations of these two facts offered us by medical science have no truth in them, For one girl had, years before, heard her employer, a clergyman, read Hebrew works aloud, and the other had heard an artist playing a violin at their farm. But neither could have done so as perfectly as they did, had they not been ensouled by that which, owning the sameness of its nature with the universal mind, is omniscient. Here the higher principle acted on the skandhas and moved them. In the other, the personality being paralyzed, the individuality manifested itself. Pray do not confuse the two. For more information, please visit Project Gutenberg, gutenberg.org.
Vegan meals are good for your health and the environment. I recommend people have fun and try them. Mayumi Muroya, vegan.
Merciful viewers, we thank you for your kind presence for today's Words of Wisdom. Coming up next is the Tuareg, Sahara's indigenous people, right after noteworthy news. May Buddha's love forever bring peace and happiness to you and your family.
Be vegan, make peace, do good deeds, hell not reach.
Peace for Ukraine or Ukraine.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/WOW.